It's time to know the truth about immigration. Reform MPs have written to Keir Starmer demanding the release of nationality and immigration status data on crime, welfare, tax, NHS usage and housing. They say the deliberate policy of mass uncontrolled immigration is demolishing trust. They say information is being deliberately withheld. Well, they're right. Because I'm sick of politicians lying to us. I am sick of being told that we must not stoke racial tensions. I'm sick of being told that diversity is our greatest strength and we are so culturally enriched when actually we are literally poorer per person. So come on, let's get the facts out there, shall we? Here are some facts for you. 72.4% of Somalis are living in social housing. 72.4%. For context, 16.9% of English households are in social housing. Here's another fact for you. People identified as Muslim had the lowest percentage of people aged between 16 and 64 years in employment. So that's 51.4% compared to 70.9% of the overall population. That's according to the ONS. Now, that probably adds up to a hefty welfare bill, don't you think? 12% of our prison population is foreign-born. When you consider how many people actually get caught for their crimes these days, I mean, it just begs the question how many foreign people come to Britain just to commit crime, doesn't it? But every single day, there are horror stories emerging. Like the Eritrean man who got his own 12-year-old daughter pregnant at a refugee centre in Germany. Do we really want that stuff coming our way? If immigration is really that good, then the government should show us the impact that it has on crime, on social housing, on healthcare and welfare. I, like many others, are absolutely sick of what I believe are constant cover-ups. Let's get the thoughts of my panel. We've got political commentator Alex Armstrong, communications manager at the IEA, Reem Ibrahim, and former Labour MP Lloyd Russell-Moore. Alex, I'll start with you on this. I mean, we are literally not being told the truth.
Yeah, well, the cover-up continues, doesn't it? And we've known this for a very long time. We've seen crime rates explode. I think just on the year they're up 10% in total. But we don't know, of course, and the police refuse sometimes to categorise by ethnicity when they arrest people, and we don't know the stats on knife crime, for example. And this makes the job of the authorities really difficult when it comes to tackling those crimes, because we don't have data to know what communities are committing them. But the cover-up goes further, of course, because we saw, big news outlets like the BBC, for example, who refused to actually mention the fact that the man who pushed the post office worker into the tube line, they refused to declare that he was an asylum seeker. Why? Why is this cover-up happening? I think the British public deserve to know who's wandering around on the streets.
From some of the stats that are out there, 72.4% of Somalis apparently are living in social housing. And then you've got 51.4% of the British Muslim population aged between 16 to 64 are currently in employment. That's compared to 70.9% of the overall population. Are they afraid, you think, some politicians, that if we knew more stuff, then the case for mass immigration would be shattered?
I don't think it's particularly helpful to categorise people based on their ethnicity. Now, I do understand the concerns here, especially when it comes to public spending. I don't think it's fair that people come to this country and are able to receive those kind of benefits. However, I don't think it's fair to effectively say that it's British Muslims or indeed it's Somalians that are committing all of these crimes in particular. We know that crime occurs as a result of various different ethnicities and various different types of people. What we need to be looking at, I think, Patrick, is actually, first of all, stopping illegal migration. Now, part of the solution there is allowing for safe and legal routes for people that do want to come here, but also being very, very honest about those that are economic migrants. We know that migration is good for the economy, it is good for society, but when they are able to work here. The problem is that effectively the government have allowed illegal migrants to come over into this country without the proper check, without knowing who they are or what their criminal backgrounds are. And at the same time, we are forcing them not to work. When they're on their asylum seeker backlog, they're not allowed to work, which means that they are forced to effectively go into the black market economy.
What job will most of them get?
Most of the particular people, most of them end up working at Deliveroo or Just Eat.
Right.
They end up working in the gig economy.
So we're not talking about brain surgeons and engineers, are we?
No, but those are jobs that need to happen, Patrick. But those are jobs that need to happen. They are jobs that need to be fulfilled. But why aren't British people fulfilling those jobs?
Because they're being undercut, aren't they?
Yeah.
Undercut by who? This is the point. Those particular people.
Deliveroo drive.
I have no problem with somebody wanting to come to this country and deliver our takeaways. I don't care. The point is that the government, the taxpayer, is spending money on these particular people to house them, to spend those particular monies on those particular people. What we need is for those individuals to be able to come to this country and work.
Yeah, but do what jobs, Reem? This is the gaping
I have
flaw
no
in your
problem.
argument.
I have no
They
problem
can't do
with
a
them.
load of jobs. Madapassa's got an AK-47 tattooed on the side of his face. He's not going to work, is he?
Yeah,
He
but
can't
he's
get a
not
job.
going to be let into the country.
Well, he has been let into the country. He's in Britain.
Yeah, but he's not going to be let
How?
to work.
Where are we going to
He's
deport
not
him
going
back
to
to?
be. Well,
Afghanistan?
there is a process that will lock him up or deport him. But let's be clear on your numbers. Okay, so you say 12% of people in prison are foreign nationals. 16% of people in this country are foreign nationals. So that would indicate to me that foreigners are less likely to break the law. Or, unless you're saying that they're just better criminals and they're less likely to go to court, I don't believe that. I believe that criminals are just as crafty whether they're white or black.
Look,
But, you know, let me finish the sentence. That would indicate to me that actually if you're a foreign national, you're less likely to be a lawbreaker and you're more likely to abide the law.
But we won't know. But we don't know,
Well, we
Lloyd,
do.
and this is the point Patrick's making. How do we know? You're saying you don't. You're questioning the data, but the government won't release
No,
it.
I'm not questioning the data.
You are.
That
You just
data is
did.
released.
Yes.
That data is released, which is the percentage of foreign
can I just say,
prisoners.
another
and
way
we
of looking
know
at it
the
is
number
that
of
we'd have
people
12%
that are foreign
fewer
in
criminals
this.
if we reduced immigration, wouldn't we?
No, we wouldn't have 12% less because percentages reduce depending on the population.
entire population.
Percentage less, wouldn't we?
No, you wouldn't have a-
Oh, this is brilliant. I feel
You wouldn't have a
I feel
percentage less.
drastically enriched, Lloyd, that we've got 12% of our prison population is foreign-born when we could be, we're releasing.
What-
Patrick, the point that Lloyd is making there is that if 16% of the entire population are foreign-born, that means that if you are foreign-born, by those statistics that you've just read out, you are less likely to commit crime or less likely to be arrested and put in prison. Is the point that Lloyd is making? Though I think the point
Any
of
foreign national in this country who commits a crime should not. be.
Exactly. Right. So let's get. Hang on a second. Hang on a second.
Stop living in cloud cuckoo land. There are
not living in
bad.
cloud
You are.
cuckoo. No.
Mate, you are. There are bad
Absolutely not.
people.
The
There are
views
bad
of the British people
There
are
are bad.
way on my
Listen,
There are
side.
bad
The
people.
fact that there are 10,000 foreign
society.
criminals in our prisons, 10,000, when your government, the government that you support, has decided to keep them here and let people,
Hang on a second.
real criminals,
Hang on
out
a
onto the
second.
street.
Hang on a
Hang on,
second.
I'm talking, Lloyd. Hang on. Listen, your government has let them out, let dangerous people out onto the streets while we've got 10,000 foreign criminals locked up. Why are we not deporting them as a priority, first of all? I know Labour are waking up to the reality of this now, but it's far little too late.
Out of that
on top of that,
it's 10,000 foreign-born. So some of them might have family and lives here, might have lived here since they were. If Kemi Badenoch was arrested and put in prison, she would be classed as foreign-born because she only came here when she was 16.
But that's not the point, is it? It's
Yes.
not the point.
Is that would we get
And then she went back.
would we get Kemi to be deported?
Yeah, you're
I think the primary point here is that effectively there are people from every different skin colour, every different ethnicity that do commit crime.
Exactly.
The point is, if you are I agree with you, both of you. I do think that if you come to this country and you commit a crime and you're not a British citizen, you should be deported. But that's not what's happening.
Okay, fine. But why shouldn't we just know?
Well, we do.
Just be able
we do.
To, well, we don't know.
No,
We
you have
can't
just
get it.
released the statistics of prison. They're widely out there. The stop and search statistics, according to race, are widely out there. The knife crime
That's not
statistics,
true.
according to race,
Actually,
are
no,
widely
Lloyd,
out
no,
there.
they're not actually.
Well,
The
they're
knife
on the
crime
ONS
statistics.
website.
No,
They are.
no, hang on a second. Let's just be real,
Where
because
do
the
you want them?
Metropolitan
Sorry,
Police.
do you want them on
hang on.
billboards up and down the country?
No,
They're
hang on.
on the National
Metropolitan
Statistics
Police
website.
even the Metropolitan Police have said that the knife crime data is inaccurate because we don't judge it by ethnicity. And I'm not just talking about foreign criminals. I'm talking about looking at the statistics with the actual eye of analysing the. How can you tell me you're going to
they ask what your ethnicity
But they don't
is.
have to declare it, Lloyd.
No.
They don't have to
Oh, so
declare,
what
and the
are you
police are
gonna
not.
do? You're gonna
Police are not
gun
compelled.
on the head of
Hang on.
on the head of the
What do you identify as?
What is your ethnicity?
Well, it should be illegal. It should be a legal requirement for them to tell you what your ethnicity.
Oh, I think
how
that
can
is
we?
a level-
How can we? No, hang on. How can we actually solve the root cause of community-based crime unless we talk about the ethnicity?
What
Of course we have to. We've got to be realistic. We're living in in La La Land.
This is-
Do you not think we should know?
Like
Do you not
they're
think we
the
have a
right
right
colour?
to
Or you're
know?
not that
Tell us who they are.
Guys, stop. Do you not think we have a right to know things when it comes to NHS usage, social housing usage, done by nationality and ethnicity?
Should we do the same thing with class? If you earn a certain amount, how much of the or should we do it by obesity? If you're really, really fat, how much of it? How much of the nationality?
Nothing to do with being an illegal criminal in the
This is the
country.
point, Alex. If we're trying to take these statistics based on ethnicity, then we've got to also do it on a basis of other.
Why? Why?
Well, because fat people use more of the NHS.
Okay, fine, but we're not necessarily paying. If they are fat and British, then that's our NHS, all right? But if they are fat and not British-born, then we are paying for non-British people to use our NHS.
Well, so the solution there is to reform the health system so that we aren't paying for other people rather than
Wes
restricting
Streeting has
those
said
particular
that, by
people in
the
the
way.
first place.
Wes Streeting
But he's
has
not done
said...
it.
Sorry,
has he
he's
not?
not done
Has
it.
Wes Streeting not said we need to clamp down on NHS tourism?
There isn't such thing.
Well, he said it.
Well, there
the
is.
Health Secretary
Because
said it
it's
in one of his
nice
flagship
soundbite.
policies.
There's a nice
Self-first.
soundbite that he said.
Reform
Look, if someone comes here on a long-term visa, they have to pay an NHS surcharge, which gives them access to the NHS. Now, that's fine. That's fair enough. They paid into the system. Then they can draw down from
But then
it.
there's plenty of people that come here that
If I go to America or France, I don't have to pay a surcharge because I have to make out a private health insurance.
Okay,
Exactly,
so
which is
let's
why
go
I
back to the
think-
premise of this debate. Why won't the government release the
why not?
data?
Why
Why
not?
not? If
Tell
it's so great, as Patrick's saying, if it's so great, let's see the numbers. Let the British public have the evidence. And then if you guys are saying, actually, it's totally fine.
What numbers? Give me the list of numbers you want, and I will go and find half of them on the ONS website. They're out there. I'm afraid those MPs that have written that letter are just too thick to be able to find the right website.
That's not true, actually, because I went to the Ministry of Justice and the Home Office, and I've asked them for all of the details by crime based on nationality and ethnicity, and the MOJ tells you that the Home Office receives it.
So you want
the Home Office tells you that the MOJ has it, and then they said we need to do an FOI request, which we did, which they then said, oh, sorry, it would take too much money.
Give me exactly what you...
That was under the Tory government, by the way.
What you want, what you're saying you want, is the detail of every country that someone comes from, every tiny little variation of ethnicity, which I think is a load of rubbish sometimes anyway, all the different subcategories and subcategories.
We do it on gender.
Well,
We've got to do it on gender. Ask you with, yes, we do the census. Went out and asked you identify as a trans person.
On the census,
We've got 64 genders up in Scotland, for goodness sake, boy, come on.
Rubbish,
My question
absolute
is,
bullshit.
if I commit a crime, do you want me to be treated differently to Alex?
No,
if
I don't want you to.
If both of us commit a crime...
I'll tell you what it is, Reem, and it really is quite simple. I appear to care much more about the public safety in this country than a load of other people, because I care whether or not we are willy-nilly allowing a load of wrong-uns into Britain to commit a load of
So
crimes.
why does ethnicity make a difference?
I completely agree with you.
Because ethnicity...
I'll tell you why. Can I answer Lloyd's question? Lloyd, can I answer your question?
Let's deport criminals. I don't care where they come from. I don't care who they are. But if you are a criminal and you're in this country and you're foreign-born, you should be deported. Absolutely.
I'd really like to answer Lloyd's question. Why is it
broadly
important that we look at ethnicity and nationality? Because we need to understand if there is a community-based problem. There are, and I'm going to say this, and a lot of people find this very unpopular. In some cases, that might be true. We know in places in Rotherham, as Patrick has done a show.
I do. It depends. I think it depends on the ethnicity and it depends on the community.
We know, for example, that in places like Rotherham, that there is a community-based issue with certain people that have come to the country from different cultures that are committing, for example, being part of the grooming gang.
Just like we know there's a group of Catholics who are priests who are part of grooming gangs, and I want to know who those Catholic priests are so we can hunt them down. And where
no, not hunt them down, but they should be... But we know, but we then... But Lloyd, but to prove your point, we knew... Hang on, Reem, hang on, no, because we knew that there was a problem in the Catholic Church by identifying that community had an issue. We did, and it's been exposed, and the whole Catholic Church had to apologise for it. So this is completely sensible.
I do agree there are certain parts of the Muslim community that are definitely more likely to commit crime than others. I do 100% agree with that. We saw it with the grooming gangs, especially when men come from cultures where they are not exposed to women that are dressed the way I am today.
Cover-up of it.
Yes.
We did.
Yes.
Because of racism.
And by the way, GB News did a brilliant job at revealing the truth behind all of those particular cases. I think what's important here is that, yes, we all agree, if you are an illegal immigrant and you come to this country and you commit crime, you should absolutely be deported.
No, if you're an illegal immigrant...
You should be deported. End of.
End of. Full stop.
We can agree on that, absolutely.
If you're a
unanimous agreement on the panel. I love it.
Doing that.
I love it.
All right, guys. Well, that is yet another really lively start to an hour.